do. Now if your name is Annie, get up off your fanny. If your name is Todd, get off your backside. If your name is Pete, you don't need a seat. Cause I'm Curtis Blow and I'm on the go. I'm rocking to the rhythms in stereo. And the people on the side, if you wanna slide, say.
Please join me in welcoming America's favorite scientist, Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
Science Guy show is over. I gotta move on to something bigger. Nowadays, I'm talking to adults, and I'm not mincing words. Climate is changing. It's our fault. We gotta get to work on this.
Bill successfully transitioned from Bill Nye, the Science Guy for kids, to the science statesman.
These people who are denying science, and especially denying climate change. We just can't have this. If we raise a generation of kids that can't think critically, we are headed for trouble. My dad's big thing was, leave the world better than you found it. My drive to do all this is from my parents.
Bill Nye, Science Guy. We also have David Alvarado's here. Jason Sussberg is here. The creators of the documentary, Bill Nye, the Science Guy, which opens in New York October 27 and Los Angeles on November 10th. You talk about climate change in this doc, and, you know, there have been many administrations that say it's a hoax.
I mean, people in the current administration.
Okay. Many
the
politicians.
The one before this was all about it. Went to Paris, signed an agreement, took a meeting.
How can
welcome to our world, dude? Dinosaurs, humans didn't live at the same time. Get over it, man.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
What we're seeing in the climate right now, when we talk about the different hurricanes that we've seen sweep through.
Don't worry about it. It's just a little climate change. It's fine. Everything's cool.
But is that these like the size of these hurricanes, the abundance of it, has this been caused by, in your opinion, by the change in climate?
So here's the thing. It is very difficult to tie any one weather event to climate change. Okay. However, bigger, stronger storms are what you'd expect because there's more heat energy in the ocean, especially the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean. And this is exactly what you'd expect. There's been people have been talking about for 30 or 40 years, and now it is coming to roost in the developed world. It's not just in these remote places. I mean, I remember as a kid, you'd find like a headline that, Yangtze River overflows, tens of thousands of people drown, or something, and I was on the other side of the world. Well, now it's in Houston, it's in Miami Beach, Corpus Christi, Pensacola. These people are going to be displaced. They're going to go somewhere. Apparently, if you went up to a typical New Orleans, what's a resident of New Orleans? A New Orleansian?
Yeah,
New Orleans?
Yeah.
And you said, okay, your house is destroyed, it's underwater, well, I'll buy it from you for $80,000. They just sell it. They'd leave. But the water goes away, and they go, well, okay, all right, I'll rebuild here, I guess. But sooner or later, people they're gonna get tired of it, and they're going to leave. And I predict there will be a business of salvaging copper wire and plumbing. Bill predicts.
Bill predicts.
All right, it's a ways off. But where are those people going to go, and what are they going to do to make a living, and what's going to happen to those areas? And that's in the U.S., let alone around the world. We used to have 3 billion people. Now we have 7.4 billion people. Pretty soon we're going to have 9 and 10 billion people. And everybody's going to want to eat something and drive around in cars and have cell phones, and it's all going to be either great or miserable. So the sooner we get to work on it, let's make it great, peoples.
What is the condition of our rainforests across the world?
Well, that's another thing. People are motivated to cut them down for money to sell the wood, which we all want lumber, beautiful lumber, and so they cut them down and they set them on fire, and it's the worst thing. So you can't, when you have people,
but
the most influential.
How does that impact?
It's the worst, man. Because first of all, the trees take carbon out of the air.
Right.
Then if you cut them down, they're not taking carbon out of the air anymore. Then if you burn them, you're putting the carbon in the air in a hurry. It's just, it's miserable, people. But let's get to work. And the first thing is acknowledging we got a problem.
Bill Nye is here, man, scaring the shit out of us.
No, come on. Listen, you got to be optimistic. If you're not optimistic, you won't get anything done.
Okay, thank you.
Well, just like myself, I grew up watching your show, and I learned a lot about science. I also learned a lot from watching movies, like Weird Science or Manhattan Project. I don't know if you've ever seen Contact with Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey.
Dude, I had Carl Sagan for astronomy. He wrote a book called Contact. They made a movie.
So in the movie, there was a big division between scientists and religious experts.
This is the thing.
Is that never going to come to any agreement, or is it always going to be facts over, whoever they believe?
Here's
faith.
So faith is all good, you guys. Just in this movie that Jason and David made, who are in the studio with us.
Okay.
This guy insists that the Earth is 6,000 years old. So it's not to me, that's not about religion. That's about just not paying attention. The Earth is not 6,000. You can't possibly be 6,000 years old. If you tie that to your religion, you got a problem. It's never going to work out because the facts aren't going to line up with your belief. So I really like to separate religion from scientific inquiry. I mean, religion, people get a lot out of religion from their communities, right? Everybody goes to church on the same day and we hang out together. It's big fun. But the Earth's not 6,000 years old.
How old is the Earth?
4.5 billion years old. So you know this.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah. The other thing, you guys, there are pyramids that are 10,000 years old. Ken, Ham, what is wrong with you, man? Here's something here's a tree that's more than 6,000 years old. How could it have been underwater? What is wrong with you? Dude, look, would you pay attention? It is weird, and it wouldn't matter except that organization is raising a generation of young people that can't think, and you don't want that.
Bill Nye, man, I'm making up for what I missed out on in the 90s right here.
Oh, you're working hard, man.
Okay.
This is good, Sway.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man.
Bill, you know how there's a lot of conversations about space travel for just like the average pedestrian and seeing if one day we can have like human colonies on Mars or whatever. If we were able to live freely on a different planet, would you like to go and live someplace else, or would you kick it here on Earth?
Well, I got to say, it depends, but if I understand the use of that term, kick it here on Earth, I'm all about Earth. If there's like the solar system cup, where it's Saturn versus Earth, I'm Earth. This is where I grew up. All my friends are here. The other thing I'm crazy about, I'm just used to, is breathing. Love that.
Yeah.
So if you go to Mars, it's fantastically cold. There's hardly any water. There's no food, and you can't breathe. That last one you would notice right away. You open the spaceship door.
Yeah.
And so another thing to caution you, and I've been corrected on this a couple times, we don't want to colonize any place. Colony's bad. We want to settle.
Okay.
Settle.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
that's what they did here in the States.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Shout out to Columbus.
Hey, we're all playing the hand we're dealt, man.
Yeah.
All right, look at me. Is there a dorkier guy? No.
You're sexy now.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm just playing the hand I was dealt.
Dork is the new sexy.
That's it. That's what we're all about. So we have a science base in Antarctica. People come and go from Antarctica all the time. Freaking cold. You bring all your own food. You got to create a way to get water to drink. All right. So I can imagine someday having a science base on Mars, but living there, total drag. Okay. So there's a dome. You live in the dome. Sounds great. You want to go outside. There's no outside. You got to put on a spacesuit. You just got to put on a smaller dome, like Cindy the Squirrel.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about in SpongeBob? So in order to go outside, you're never really outside. So this whole idea of settling on Mars, you guys, you're just not paying attention. And it's based on our sort of European experience where these guys and gals left Europe, went all over the world. People in South America speak Spanish because these little countries had ships, showed up with swords and smallpox and just kicked butt and took over. Now, and some people speak Portuguese from the tiniest country, showed up with swords and smallpox, and now people speak Portuguese. So to this end, this idea that you could show up on a shore and just march across a continent shooting everything and eating everything is just not the way it's going to be on Mars. There's no food. There's no water. There's no air, for crying out loud. And California, it's so out of hand These guys from Europe came marching across North America. It's so out of hand. Not only were there nuts growing on every tree, all the protein you want, and these huge fish coming up the Sacramento River. Wait, the rocks, the ground is made of gold. That's how crazy it got in California. The 49ers are still named after this gold rush in 1849. Like, it's not like that on Mars. There's no gold to dig up. There's no salmon to eat, people.
There's no rainbow trout?
Pull back, Bill. Calm down.
How many bow ties do you have, Bill?
About 500.
500 bow ties.
Yeah, but there's a couple things I'll just say. I only wear one at a time.
Okay.
And ladies, whenever I wear it's just my thing. Mm-hmm. I also wear a shirt. It's just my deal.
Yes.
I wear a bow tie.
You never shirtless with the bow tie?
No, I mean, sure, I could pull it off.
Yeah, but
check me out.
All right.
But I don't go that route.
All right. We got Coral on the line from Maryland. Coral, what's up?
Coral.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Hey, we got Bill Nye in
Hi,
there.
Bill.
David and Jason are here, too.
How are you?
I'm fabulous.
Good. Well, first, I just want to say I grew up watching your show, Bill. I had no other choice. I too grew up in Dallas, and my father was actually the vice president of PBS station at the time.
Oh, we love him.
Yeah, your show was one of the very few I was allowed to watch. So thank you for always.
So I'm your default. I'm what's left over. I'm here for you, Coral.
So my question for you is, how can we ensure that our number 45 president doesn't throw out all the concepts of science?
So I used to say you got to vote, and I guess people did, but not enough. So this next election is really important. You got to show up. This is what people talk about all the time. We got to show up, and what's built into the U.S. system that I celebrate is change. Built in is change. I mean, we traded the smartest guy in the room for the not smartest guy in the room,
okay.
And so we got to vote this coming year. Get on it, please. Get on it.
Get on it. All right. Hey, Coral, thank you. All right, Tori's on the line too. Tori, what up, Tori?
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
Tori. What's up, Tori?
Hey, Sway, Heather B, Tracy G. I love you guys. I listen to you every single morning while I'm getting ready for work. I'm so pumped right now. Bill Nye, the damn science guy, I watched you as a kid every day after school. You taught me not to conform to basic thinking. You got me to love science, space, everything on our planet. Our future goes on. Also, people saying that climate change is fake are just plain ass dumb. Look what's going on with our planet. How can people deny this? I'm super worried about my children's future. We need to teach the younger generation. You need to keep doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
I love all your
So, Tori, if we were on Jeopardy, could you state that in the form of a question?
Probably not. Probably not.
But I appreciate your support. Do we appreciate her support?
We appreciate it. She didn't come with a question, but we appreciate her support. All right, let's see who has a question. Everything.
Okay, she's gone.
She's out
I had no control, Tori. Don't go busting my chops.
If you'd like to make a call,
Oh,
please
man,
hang
there
up
she
and
goes.
try again.
Let's go to Seattle. Go ahead, D. D, are you there?
Yo, Bill, what's going on? Sway, everybody, HB, how you guys doing?
Yep. What's your question, D?
Hey, I grew up with Bill, first of all, back with Almost Live in Seattle back in the day.
We love you, man. We love you.
I just episode of that with you doing your speed walking the other day.
That's right.
Old show coming on.
Speedwalker
Did
was
you
a
ever get-
superhero that race walked. He didn't fly. Heel toe everywhere he went.
Heel toe.
Do you ever get jealous of not being bigger on Big Bang Theory with some of the other scientists that's been on there?
No. That was the coolest. You guys, I was on the Big Bang Theory with Bob Newhart. I mean, for you comedy, students of
Carol Burnett.
He's a big doggone deal. It was very cool. Yes, I'll be back. Hey, Bill Prady, Chuck Lorre, I'm willing to come back anytime. I'm here for you, man. No, but that was really cool. And I'll just say that Bob Newhart told me, this is hearsay from me, but he was sitting there. Chuck Lorre, you guys know Chuck Lorre, has been after him for years to be on one of Chuck Lorre's shows. And Bob Newhart told me, but maybe he was being charming. He said that he thought the writing on Big Bang was good enough. Was really good. And Bob Newhart wanted to be part of it. And he plays a character called Professor Proton. And he's got that stutter, the Bob Newhart thing, where Sheldon says, "This is my girlfriend Amy," and Bob Newhart's character Professor Proton goes, "You have a girlfriend?" It's just that timing is amazing. Oh gosh! So no, I'm not jealous. I'm honored.
Now Bob Newhart, Vicki Lawrence, Carol Burnett, that whole
that's the major leagues.
Yeah, that's the major league right there. Hey D, thanks for your call, man. Jason, David, what are you guys here for? What do you what do you want to tell us about the doc?
Well, we grew up watching Bill on TV, and so it's just really awesome to work with him as adults. And I don't know, Bill's just such an interesting guy because he's a professional actor, but he's portraying himself. He's like an actor that acts as himself on TV. And so it was interesting to hang out with him for 2 years and find out who the guy behind the bow tie really is.
Any weird things you found out about him that didn't make the doc?
You got to see the doc to see it, I guess.
Okay, all right, okay.
It's a deep dive into who he is, though. This isn't just about science. It's also about the man, where he comes from, what motivated him to become who he is.
Wow, that's big, man.
It's big.
It's the big times now, bro.
It starts this weekend. The tickets, I think, are very reasonably priced. They make great gifts.
Okay. All right, and then take the kids. This is something the whole family. Go ahead, Wanda. You was a big fan.
I was going to say David and Jason. I was going to ask you guys. Bill, you became viral recently going onto an elevator with a bunch of girls twerking. What's the groupie situation looking like when you guys are following Bill around? There's got to be some science groupies, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is definitely science groupies. Yeah. I don't know that I should say that on radio. Well, I feel like I've been laid before because I hang out with Bill. So that has happened.
Yeah, you got sex because you hung out with Bill.
What do science groupies look like? What do they wear?
They're millennials.
They're not aliens, Tracy.
So, ladies, can I just ask you, the elevator door opens.
Yes.
And I'm using the elevator to go between floors. It's very common practice. And these 4 young women what are they doing?
Twerking. And you guys have to explain twerking to Bill. We're still trying
not
to get
just that. What is the motive? What are we? They're facing the back of the elevator. I guess there's a mirror, so they're recording themselves shaking their
butts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And why do we do that? And then we put it on the internet so that everybody in the world can see our athletic abilities as dancers in elevators.
Yeah, and then you could become popular, and the more likes you get, the more popular you become for shaking
And then you get
your
access
ass.
to David and Jason, is what you're saying.
Pretty much, As a woman.
You get access to the producers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a fad thing.
Learn how to twerk?
I mean, ladies, gentlemen, I'm okay swing dancer.
Yeah.
Is that true, gentlemen?
Yeah. Bill's a good swing dancer.
Ladies, do not
seen
mind.
his twerking.
Do not mind dancing with me. But the twerking thing, I just understand everybody. I'm of an age. I did the hustle. I did the bump.
Okay. That was the first twerk.
Yeah. I mean, I might have been working at the car wash. I might have been Flashlight. I might have envied Mr. Big Stuff. I'm from that era, and we used to do the bump, which I think is twerk related.
Yeah.
But we didn't really do it in elevators with mobile phones recording it. Right. That's what surprised. So
it's a different world, though, right?
I know. So the doors open, and it's 4 young women are carrying on. Very great. Ladies, carry on. Very good. Yep.
Were you impressed by their twerking, though?
They're okay. The other thing that surprised me. They're all in swimsuits.
Okay.
And all 4 swimsuits were black and white. Like, is this a thing where, what are you going to wear? Oh my God, what are you going to wear? Oh, I'm going to wear black and white. Well, I'm going to wear black and white too. Is that what was going on, or was it a uniform?
I think there was a uniform. They were doing like a number or something in Vegas.
Okay.
That's what I assumed.
All right.
assumed.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
But I was on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Just talking some more about me, and I quote Chevy Chase. You know, the comedian Chevy Chase, who was in several movies with an actress, Goldie Hawn, and Goldie Hawn in her day was, I mean, she's still lovely.
She's still lovely.
Yeah, smoking. And so he said, it's like holding an ice cream cone you can't lick.
That's how you feel like being in the elevator?
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Bill Nye, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Jason Sussberg, David Alvarado, thank you for coming by.
Yeah, of course.
Make sure y'all check it out. The 27th in New York. You Bill Nye Science Guy, and on November 10th in Los Angeles, please support. And don't forget the Netflix show, Bill Nye Saves the World. The second season will be released real soon. Thank you for coming through, brother.
Thank you, Sway.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shea 45. Kilo.